What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. Welcome to another episode of Shadows and Pretties on episode 249. Today, in this episode of Shadows and Pretties, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing another Muppet movie, and this one came out in 1981. That is called The Great Muppet Caper. It is a pretty good movie that is just as good as, movies like The Muppet Movie and The Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppet Treasure Island, etc. Now, of course, this one was directed by Jim Henson, the creator of The Muppets, who also created Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street, etc. Now, anyways, with that being said, and that being the case, this film was released after the final season of The Muppet Show, which is pretty interesting. We got Jim Henson, who plays Kermit the Frog, as well as Ralph and the etc. We've got Frank Oz, who, voices Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear. We've got, Jerry Nelson. We've got, so many other puppeteers who were working on this together. So, anyways, The Great Muppet Caper is a pretty good movie that was released in 1981. It's a pretty good film. And I personally remember that the movie was re-released into theaters for 2 days on August 8th and August 11th in 2021 for the 40th anniversary, which was pretty something. And I did not even know that, but that was pretty interesting. Of course, we do have this movie that was released on VHS tape and DVD. Some of you guys might remember, watching this, on VHS when you were a kid or something, if you were lucky, or DVD or whatever. So this film was new after the success of the Muppet movie that came out in 1979 with good reviews. They decided to make this one as well as, the other movies. So I think we should say right now, the music of this is just flat out amazing. I personally really like the soundtrack of it. The music of it was just absolutely gorgeous and well made. Pretty good for a good Muppet movie. So, even though this was released in the US first and then released in the UK, but the movie itself is just flat out amazing. And of course, Jim Henson did pretty good in this movie. He directed this, so that was pretty cool. So, anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, refresh your memories for those who haven't watched this movie in a really long time, would probably want a refresher because, you probably haven't seen it since you were a kid. And some of you guys probably have not seen this movie as well. So, with that being said, and that being the case, I think we should get started. So basically, the plot is about Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear are investigative reporters for the Daily Chronicle newspaper. They are supposedly identical twins, which becomes the source of the running gag, and nobody tells they are twins unless Fozzie is wearing his hat. Gonzo the Great is pretty much a loyal photographer, and together they make a team, until one day the trio is dismissed for a failing report on the major jewel robbery. Kermit asks their editor, Dr. Mr. Tarkamanian, to allow them to travel to London to investigate the robbery and interview the victim. The fashion designer Lady Holiday, styler and wardrobe, does make appearances throughout the film, just to heckle them and the audience. With only $12 for the trip, they are forced to travel in an airplane baggage to hold, and they're literally worn out of the plane as it passes over Britain. They stay at the dilapidated but for free Happiness Hotel, which is populated by other Muppets, including, the Electric Mayhem Band, Scooter, Swedish Chef, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, Beaker, etc. Like, we get all these Muppets who are there as well. Eventually, the next morning, when Kermit seeks out Lady Holiday in her office, she finds her new hired receptionist, Miss Piggy, and mistakes her for the fashion designer. Miss Piggy instantly falls in love with Kermit, the green reporter, and we all know a lot of people ship Miss Piggy with Kermit, and it is pretty canon for any of you, for those who are wondering. She poses as Lady Holiday, and Kermit asks her out to dinner, and to keep the pose, she allows Kermit to assume that she lives at Highbrow address, and she sneaks into a townhouse at 17 Highbrow Street to wait for him. Much to the surprise in the actual upper class British residents, they go out to the Bondetta Club for dinner. So at the nightclub, the real Lady Holiday's necklace is stolen by her jealous brother Nicky and his accomplices Clara, Marla, and Darla, three of the exploded fashion models, and the very same thieves who have robbed before. After the robbery, Miss Piggy's charade is then revealed as she flees, leaving Kermit behind. As Gonzo has taken a picture of the robbers, but it seems as later as in Devassery ruined, the next day at the park, Kermit and Miss Piggy reconcile after having a brief argument. Despite Nicky's instant attraction to Miss Piggy, he and his accomplices decide to frame her for the necklace during the Ladies' Holidays fashion show, and they plan to steal an even more valuable prize. Lady Holiday's largest and most valuable jewel, the fabulous baseball diamond, now on display at the Mallory Gallery. Unbeknownst to them, Gonzo overhears their plot, and he, Kermit, and Fozzie, and the other residents of the Happiness Hotel decides to interrupt the thieves to catch them red-handed to exonerate Miss Piggy. Kermit arrives at the prison to explain the plan to Miss Piggy while being disguised as her lawyer. So, as the Muppets sneak into the Mallory Gallery to try and get the baseball diamond at the same time as the thieves, they try to keep the diamond out of the thieves' hands by via game of keep away. But Nicky eventually catches the diamond and takes Kermit hostage at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Miss Piggy escapes from prison and she races into the gallery, thus crashing through the window on the motorcycle, and that surreptitiously fell off a truck right in front of her. She knocks Nicky out and dispatches Carla, Marla, and Darla with a flurry of the furious karate chops. So as the police arrive, all charges against Miss Piggy are dropped, and Nicky and his accomplices are arrested, and the Muppets get their deserved credit for foiling the heist. So the Muppets then return to the United States the same way they departed, thus being thrown out of the cargo hold and parachuting on back, and thus how the movie ends. What an awesome story. I really do find that this was a pretty good movie, and I really personally enjoyed, the concept of this movie. It's a pretty awesome made movie. I mean, when I was a kid, I really loved this. I thought the characters were pretty cool. I liked the villains in there. I thought they were pretty neat. I do like, the concept of this is just flat out amazing. I personally really like the soundtrack of the movie. I mean, when I watched this movie for the first time in ages, I honestly felt so old because this movie, when I was a kid, I had this movie on VHS, and while it's a really amazing concept, especially with the characters acting like they're in character, and the fact that, Miss Piggy being framed for something she didn't do, and the villains try to win, but unfortunately they always never get away with things. It's always a really good idea to keep in track with Muppet movies so you can get, in contact, and well, not really in contact so much, but like so you can always keep in track of, what they're going through in that. So I mean, the part that I really liked was the pool scene, or Miss Piggy's fantasy in the movie. I thought that scene was pretty well done. I mean, it kind of makes me wonder how they got Miss Piggy to swim or something. I mean, I don't know if. I mean, how did he get her to swim? Because we don't see her puppeteer anywhere. So it kind of makes me wonder, how do they manage to do that? That's kind of what I'm wondering too. I mean, I wonder how they managed to get her, to do swimming in that, because I don't see her puppeteer anywhere. So I don't even know if they were there for the whole scene, but probably just in the costume or something. Maybe you guys can maybe let me know what you think in the comments below. Because that pool scene always kind of makes me wonder, how come they got Miss Piggy, to be underwater though without any material of her when she's used as a puppet to get ruined. I mean, I'm surprised it hadn't gone ruined during the whole thing, but it kind of makes me wonder how they managed to keep it intact without, any of, the material Miss Piggy has getting ruined. It kind of makes me wonder. So Maybe you guys, if you have like a possible theories, you guys can let me know in the comments below because I personally would like to hear what you all think. So, in my opinion, it's a movie that I really highly recommend you check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's a pretty awesome movie. And I do recommend it for people who haven't watched this movie in a really long time. I highly recommend you check out this movie if you haven't, and you will not be disappointed once you see it. So, anyways, with that being said, I personally recommend you guys check it out if you haven't. So, yeah. Anyways, with that being said and that being the case, what did you guys personally think of this story? This movie. Let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. Also, like I'm gonna say before, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these movies. This is my own personal thoughts. If you don't like this movie, I respect your opinion. If you don't like this movie, that's fine. If you like it, feel free to, share your own opinions. And even if you don't like the movie, feel free to share your own opinions on it as well, because I personally like to hear what you all think. So, anyways, that's all I have to say. If I am missing anything, feel free to let me know in the comments below, because I personally would like to hear what you all think of this movie. So, anyway, I'm the Lion Queen. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Ring the bell for notifications when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, and like always, I'll see you all next time.